Hey guys, Dan here from Your Guitar Academy, back with the amazing people from Guitar Control to bring you the third lesson in this mini blues series where I'm talking you through this solo. Okay, so at the end of the last lesson, we did the whole thing up to this point. So we did the first chord, the first 4 bars with the lick over the top, and then we did the second 2 bars, which is over the 4 chord with the lick over the top of that. We've now got back to the part where we're on the 1 chord again for 2 bars. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And in this bit, I chose to do a kind of deliberately almost kind of like I don't know, it's like a kind of Chicago blues type thing, I think, anyway. I also hear people like in Texas blues, like Stevie Ray, do this all the time. And it's just to now kind of step away from the kind of twiddly and work a little bit more with the groove and hitting and pulling something out of the groove using the chords. So this part sounds like this, and I think it's quite important that I play this bit with a drum beat so you can really hear it. So I'm going to get us back to our 100 BPM, if I can just type that in, and let's have a listen to this bit. So it'll be like this. If you imagine the previous lick ended like this. 2, 3. So that's the part, I'll do it again. So 1, 2, so the previous lick ended here. 2, 3. Again. 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 2, 3. Bow, bow. 2, 3. Like that. Like that. So I think this is cool kind of counter rhythms. There's really cool stuff in here, and it's really worth learning. Plus, there's a nice little bit of theory here as well. So first of all, we start this bar where we're still kind of really, we ended here. So we're getting a lot of vibrato out of that. So we get this kind of 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to go. Okay. So if you've never done this before, this is going to be a revelation, because it's a magical piece of blues fun. So all we're doing is we're going to grab the low B, and I'm doing that with my thumb, but you can just as easily do that with your first finger. And then I'm basically just, you know, highlighting this B7 chord. But first of all, I'm going to go. So I'm going to bar the 9th fret on the D, G, and B string, and then come back to this sound. So again, I'm going from a barred 9th fret to a barred 7th fret, but I'm hammering on the major 3rd in the middle. Okay, so just this G string is hammering on to the 8th fret. I just sit there and practice that. Try and get that clean. It's so used. I mean, man, if I'm playing a blues, I will not play that. So, you know, I could just be going this kind of. Or something like that. It's just absolutely crucial for any blues player. You know. Just great, isn't it? Anyway, back to our context. So we go like this. 1, 2, 3. Bow, bow. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, at that point, we're then going to go into the next chord, which is this. Now this, my friends, is a C13. So C dominant 13. And you might be asking, why on earth am I playing a C in a B blues? And I'll talk that in a second. Let's just get the chord shape down first. Now, there's 2 ways to play this. One is with the thumb on the root. Then you've got the flat 7 there, major 3rd, and then the 13 on top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 on top. Really nice kind of chord. It's a slightly more kind of jazzy sounding chord because we've got quite a high extension. But we fundamentally got the dominant, we've got the root, the third, and the flat 7, so that's the dominant part of it. And then rather than the 9th, we add the 13th, and it's kind of a really nice sounding jazzy chord. And I'll show you why it works here in a second, but let's just get this shape. Now, if you don't like doing it with the thumb, you can always do it like this as well. So first finger, second finger, third finger, fourth finger. We're really blocking off the A string and the high E string. We don't want anything to do with those. Okay? So that chord is really acting as something that you're going to have to get used to in blues when you're playing blues, which is creating tension that can then be released. Okay? And in this instance, we're about to go to the 5 chord. In the next lesson, we'll talk through the 5 chord, but that's where we're aiming to get to, okay? And if you look at the 5 chord, okay, and then you look at the 13th, just the high end of the 13th, and the high end of the 5 chord. So in the 5 chord, look, that's what we've got. Just really try and visualize this. And to make that a C13, we just simply add this note, look. So that's our movement. If you just think of it just in terms of a movement, we're going from there with the C13 to there with the F sharp. So it's a really simple way of, we're just creating a little bit of kind of altered tension that we then resolve by going to the next chord. It's a super cool way to add that tension. Now, another way to look at this is to think about it in tritones. Now, a tritone is the idea of, it is simply 3 tones. So there's the first note, there's 1 tone, there's 2 tones, there's 3 tones. On the guitar, when you put them together like this, that's a tritone. You can see. Okay? And a tritone is always a nice way of kind of tension and release, tension and release, tension and release. You can always move through them. So the fact that I've got kind of this C here, and I'm going to the F sharp, especially when using dominant chords, these are all tritones. It's a bit of a complicated subject, and I totally understand if this theory is a little bit too much, depending on what level you're at or where you're at on the guitar. But a nice, easy way to think about it is if I want to get to this chord here, and I'm here, I'm creating a tritone by taking that one up, and then moving to the tritone above it. So I'm here, I'm taking this up by a semitone, create some tension, and then the tritone takes me to there. You can do it wherever you want. So let's say, for example, I was going to the 4 chord, okay? And I wanted a tritone bit of tension. Well, the tritone is there. It's that same shape anywhere. So I want to go from this 1 chord down and then go up. In this instance, I'm doing like that, okay? And when I combine that with the fact that this 13th chord has that really cool tension note that gets released, it's just like a perfect storm, okay? So that's the theory, okay? In my mind, what I always just remember, now I got the theory down, is that when I'm on the 1 chord, I'm going to the 5 chord, I just simply step it up a semitone, add my 13th, and voila, we're in, okay? Now, in terms of the rhythm, we're going like this. Okay? Now, rhythmically, let's just put this back in place. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And that takes us through to our 5 chord. So, what's actually happening rhythmically here? Well, we're just doing a really cool 16th note vibe here, okay? So, what I would do is I would count very much like this, okay? So, not to blow your own mind. So, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and ba, ba, 1, 2, 3, and a 4. Sorry, 3, E, and A, okay? So, we're going to do a 3, on the 3, we're going to do a crunch, then we're going to do an upstroke on the E and hit the chord, then a crunch on the down and an upstroke on the E. The last one you let ring out. Okay? So it's 3 E and Okay, so here's how I would count it, okay? So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3 E and Okay, with a beat. Let's do that with a beat. It takes a little bit of time to get that. It's a little bit of a tricky one, but super fun once you got it. Let's do it with a 70 BPM speed. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3 E and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3 E and 1, 2. Now without my count. Okay, so it's a super cool part. Now let's hear it in practice with the rest of the licks so far. So, 1, 2, 3, bad monkey. Change my pickup. Next bit. Two, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4. And there we have it again. So that brings us to the end of this lesson, and we've got one more lesson to go. I'll be back with you with the wonderful guys at Guitar Control to take you through the last bit and start to piece it all together.